Hello everybody, Angie here. I'm coming on part 2 to my fun folio make where I am challenging myself. I am taking 2 complete file folders and we're condensing it down and making a mini kind of a, smaller size file folder. And we just want to make it pretty, add a lot of flips and flaps and pockets and tucks and just different things. And yeah, and see what we can come up with. So the challenge is just to maximize and use the entire 2 file folders. So I thought that would be a fun project. And as I said, this is part 2. Part 1, we were working basically on the construction. I was cutting all my pieces down, and I think I got it kind of formatted where I think it'll look nice. And so today we're going to start gluing things down and putting things together and decorating. All right, so if you are making this along with me, get your pieces and get your glue and get your coordinating papers, however theme you're going to decorate it with, and let's have some fun. All right, hope everybody's doing good. I'm doing all right. Now, I don't really know where I'm going to go. I changed my mind a lot, but what caught my eye is I grabbed some washi tape, okay, and there's just some neutrals, some pretty colors there. I thought maybe those might come in handy. I grabbed some reinforcement tabs, and those are some that I just inked with some distress inks. I grabbed a couple things of ribbon or trim, some white, just some scraps that I had, and then some blue. And the reason I grabbed the blue is because I have some blue digitals. And I have a few loose pages here. Isn't that beautiful? Some vintage blue kind of pages here. And I have, what 4 or 5 pages? 1, 2. But I don't know that this is going to be enough. So I grabbed some book page also. Since this is kind of a vintage, I grabbed some vintage book page that's kind of discolored and getting kind of aged, and I thought that complemented it real nicely. So that's really all I have for now, and I'll kind of, get my bearings as I go. But I thought it would be fun just to do something different that I haven't made for a while. I haven't made a file folder in quite a while. All right, so we have quite a bit of flips and things like that. So I'm trying to decide where I should start. I don't want to, and I have all my pieces here, so we'll see what we end up with at the end. I'm thinking I should start with this middle piece right here. So I'm going to slide this over this way and all these pieces over this way. So I kind of keep myself organized. And this is the middle, okay? This is one whole entire file folder, okay? And this is how we folded it. Okay, so if you haven't seen part 1, you might want to go back and revisit that and kind of see where we got the construction and where we started. And this is going to be the middle, housed with 2 pockets here. So I'm thinking I should start there. All right, let's do that, since I'm kind of trying to convince myself. And it's just shy of 8.5. So trying to decide which end I want to cut off. Now I think, just so I don't have so many creases, where I have to ink, I'm gonna, rather than glue this piece down, and I'm just sharing my thoughts with you guys as I go, rather than butting it up like that and then butting the next piece there and then always have that little bit showing through, I'm gonna bring this over a little bit and let the 2 papers overlap. Then I don't have that seam showing. Okay, so that's what we're going to try. All right, we're just going to use some glue stick and some wet glue here and there wherever I feel that it is appropriate. So I'm going to start with one piece, no, I just grabbed one. Let me look at these. Let me do a different one. I think I'll do this one. Okay, so I'm just going to overlap that seam right there just by about 1/2 inch, just a bit. Okay, and then I'll trim off the excess off of the bottom. Okay, let's just get it down. I think that would be a good place to start, is that middle flap. Okay. I love making these projects. Like I said, each one is so unique, and you know, depending on how you decorate it, if you do it a theme or you know what have you, they're just so fun to do, and they're so useful. That's the second benefit. They're just so useful. You know, they have so many pockets and little tuck spots, and they're small enough where you can take them with you, slide it in a book if you carry a book around with you, put it in your purse, you know, depending on the size. Just so many things you can do. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over it with my little hole punch, but just so I can see where I made those tabs, I'm going to cut around there. And we'll see if that's going to be sufficient or if I'll have to make adjustments. I don't know yet. Okay, just like that. And then I'm going to fold it over. And we're going to keep right on going. You see, I lined it up. So that's the thing about these projects too. You got to take into consideration. See, I lined it up on this side, but as we go down, the paper shifts a little bit. See that little bit showing right there? And that's what I was trying to avoid where I can. And that's down already. That is too late to move. So that's where the ink comes in. Okay. All right, we're going to keep on going. Keep on pushing. And I'm just going to do section at a time because I may want to change up my paper, mix and match, things like that. So you can decorate yours however you want to. Okay. So I think I want to, again, overlap on that fold just a bit. So there'll be less showing. And let's see. Let's try a piece of the book page. Let's see. It's almost the size of my folio, but not quite. So I'm thinking we're just gonna, and we're gonna try and maximize the papers and the things that I use as well. So let's just have a little fun. I'm just working on a whim here, guys. That's what this video is called. We're just gonna have some fun. Okay. So then this one, can go right up next to here. And it hangs over a little bit on the bottom. That's not a problem. I'm just going to be taking my time, guys. So I hope you guys are not in any rush. Okay? All right. So let's bring my mat back in. Okay, bring that right up to the top edge. There we go. And we're going to glue it down. Okay, and then that's going to go over like that. That looks nice. But I think I want to ink that. So let me grab my ink pads, a couple ink pads. prepped a dark brown. We'll use ground espresso. Okay, since we're going with the vintage look. A little ink on that before I glue it down. That is pretty. Okay. Very pretty. Okay, and we've got this edge here. So let's see, we can do something with this. Maybe that. And then something with the flap. And I want to keep the integrity of the file folder so you can tell that it was, you know, a file folder folio. So I want to keep the integrity on that. Okay, we'll leave that blank for now. I may regret it because I want to tuck, I won't glue all the way under here just in case I want to tuck something under there because I'm thinking that I might. I don't know what yet, but I might. But that's an easy enough thing. We can come back and glue that down later. But if I glue it all the way down now, then I can't go back and do anything with it. But yes, I like that. That looks nice, don't you think? Okay. I'm assuming you guys are saying yes. Okay, so let's put some glue on here. I'm thinking if maybe I just want to leave this open and make a tuck spot, but this is just regular thin printer paper, and it'll be kind of delicate for a tuck spot. It might end up tearing or something. So we'll go ahead and skip that. Okay, down we go. Oh, look at how quickly I said that, and oh, it's down. Oh well, see, I get too ahead of myself. All right, let's trim off the edges and let's see what we're looking at. And we end up only having to cut off about 1/2 inch. So I think this folio is like right at 8 inches, if I remember where we stopped. Okay, I don't think we need to save that. And that is what we're looking at so far. Looking good, okay? This comes open. Let's reinforce our folds. Nice and easy. Okay, then we've got these little doodads here that we need to trim. So let's do that. Okay, and we'll throw a little ink on there. Okay, ink as we go. Okay, so that's what we've got so far, guys. Okay, and this is going to close up, and it's going to be 2 pockets. So let's do that next. Okay, So for that, we're going to use some wet glue because it's going to have to close up this file folder, and it's pretty thick and sturdy. And I'm going to try to measure. I measured. We did that on the last video. Remember those tick marks I made along this middle fold? That's where I knew that I wanted to mark so I can somewhat get a straight line and put some glue down, okay, to separate our pockets. So let's do that. We're going to run a bead of glue right roughly, try and keep a straight line right there, and then on the top and the bottom. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3, just like that. And we want to be somewhat generous with these because, you know, like I said, file folder is pretty thick. But we don't want to, you know, of course you don't want to put too much to where your glue is oozing out everywhere. So be mindful of that. And let's close that right up. And give it a press. Give it a second to catch. Okay, there we go. Now, we have to close up the back side as well, but I'm going to wait on that because maybe we could just wrap around some paper. I don't know. And just close that off. We'll see. We'll hold off on that for now. But I am aware that it is open. Okay. All right. Next, let's see. I'm just going to put a little glue down right here where I missed the glue stick. Okay, so that's what we're looking at so far. So, okay, let's work on this. Let's put some paper down here. And I'm thinking let's use this light side right here. And since I left this tab uncovered, we're going to do the same and leave this tab uncovered as well. Now I did have a flap there, so let's go back to these pieces I pushed to the left and get my flap. Okay, this one here is going to go right here. Okay, so we got to put that down first because we want to cover up the hinge. Okay, so let's do that. And again, using wet glue. Okay, and down we go. Let that catch. Give it a good press. And then before we put our paper down, come back to the front, see how that little corner is hanging over, so let's trim that off. Just use a scissor or your X-Acto knife, whatever you've got. Trim that little corner off. Okay. Now we can put this piece down. And we can go all the way across with the piece, which should take us about there. Or do this and something else here. I think to simplify things, we're just going to go straight across. Okay. So we'll line up the bottom edge. You can start at the top or the bottom, whichever you prefer. try and hold it in place. I'm right-handed, so I got to turn it. Shift it on me a little bit. There we go. And let's glue it down, and then we'll trim off the little flat piece. Okay. Section at a time. Might have shifted on me again a little bit, but we'll see. Give it a good press. Okay. And I'm just going to use this guide right here. I could have cut it before I started gluing, but it's not a big deal because I'm thinking either washi or trim that I want to put there. I'm not sure which, but let's just... Oh, you know what? Well, see, I'm getting ideas as we're going. But let's... All right, let's start putting that down. Okay. Okay, let's bring that crease nice and easy. Bring that up. And fold it down. What I was thinking is this can be an additional flap here, and we can put another piece of paper there, was my thought. No, I think I will just remove this piece here. Like I said, that's the fun part about doing folios. You just get so many ideas and so many different things that you can do with it. Get that right up to the edge as best I can. Okay. And we're just gonna slowly tear that. Okay, I like that. So why don't we just bring a little bit of ink to that edge, just a dab. There we go. Okay, so that's what we've got now, that and that. I'm not liking that. I didn't tear it quite straight. That's okay, that's where the washi can come in. We can put some washi there, or some trim. That's what I originally thought. Let me see if I can sliver that off just a little bit. I'm going to try that. Okay, that's a little better. I like that better. Okay, good flow there. All right, let's bring this back and turn it, and let's work on this fold here. You know how it is when you try to fold your papers before your glue has adhered really well, it'll buckle on you. So I'm just trying to take it nice and slow. Okay. Okay, so now we need to cut around there. Kind of hard to get my scissors in there. There we go. Okay, here we go. So we've got our first little flap there. We've got our double pocket flap there, and this is going to be the back. Okay, so let's bring these left hand. We're going to go try and do the left side first if I can. I've got this and this and this. Now these were going to be the journal pages for these pockets here, but now we've got to cut that slit open. Now's the time we can do that, and then we can just tuck those in there for now. Okay, now you can just freehand this, or you can use your paper cutter, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to freehand it. And just a very small slit to open these pockets up. Well, let's see. Might be easier to use a ruler and a finger blade. Let's see. And just a small sliver. Just to open those pockets up. Okay, just a little bit. All right, so where we're at. And these should open up. There we go, pocket one and pocket two. Sorry about my fingernail. I didn't polish that one finger. Okay, let's see. And depending on how much the glue spreads, when we glued those pockets, yeah, it's a little tight, so we're gonna have to trim these down just a hair. So let's do that next. I'm just doing both at the same time. And I'm just gonna take off about 1/8 of an inch, I think. Maybe that's 1/4. Okay. Let's see if those will fit. Very nice. And then I've got to decide how far I want those to stick out. Let's see. I think that's okay. We don't need to trim those down any. Okay, that's coming along nicely. What do you think, guys? Let's see. Okay. Now this one. Let's come back to this long flap here. Let's work on this next. Okay, now this one was going to go here. And I could have tucked that in, but that's okay. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see which paper I want to use next. Still have this little strip. No, those are too dark. I want to kind of go light and dark, kind of balance it out a little bit. Should we just go with just wrap it around and go with this one? Let's do that. All right. We're just going to completely wrap around our paper on this one. And I like to just kind of do a little bit at a time. Like I said, I'm not going to rush. Be less chance for errors and mistakes if we just take our time. Okay. Glue it down nicely. Do a little more. Okay, down we go. Okay, and we're just going to wrap this right around. Line up the bottom. Slipped on me just a little bit. Let me see if I can fix that. There we go. Okay, that's good. And we don't have to worry about trimming that off. That's just the hinge there. All right, let's glue that down. Okay, go. No going back. Okay. And trim it around. I don't know, what was it, 4 pieces of digital paper? It might be enough. I don't know. Doing pretty good so far. Okay. Now this side had our hinge. So we need to reinforce our hinge next and put that down into our folio. Find where the hinge is and slowly, let's give that paper a second to dry. For that glue to grab. Okay, let's bring the folio back in. And once we fold our hinge, that's going to go right in there. Okay. We better still cover this piece. Okay, I like that. So maybe this one. And cover this. This dark piece right here, I like that. Gonna lay like this. Yeah, that's not bad. All right, let's give that a second. While that's drying, let's glue this front flap. Then we're gonna check my time and see where we should stop. So if you're working on this along with me, you know, just keep at it. Or stop where I stop and we will continue on the next video. I try to keep my videos at 45 minutes, so I don't really want to go over that. Okay. And it's good that it went over a little bit, so then we don't have that crease showing. So let's go ahead and just put a little bit more glue down here. And get it all the way down. Okay, well that's drying. Let me check my time. Okay, we're only at 38 minutes. Let's finish this flap and get this flap on, and then that'll probably be a good place to stop until the next video. All right, let's check our hinge here. Gotta work that. And we're going to go back the other way. And we're dealing with file folder and paper on both sides, so it's getting quite thick. Okay. I'm going to go back and forth both ways a couple times, because we want our folio to close nice and flat as possible. And how you do your hinges and creases in your folds play a big part in that. All right. Yes, I like that. So I line that right up, right there. Okay, let's put that down. I'm gonna grab some clips so while I can clip this, so while we're working on this side. Okay, let me grab a couple clips. Okay. Make sure I got my paper right side up. Turn this sideways so I can line it up well, and down we go. Okay, and then I'm going to fold this back on itself, and I'm going to put some clips until that glue catches really well. Okay, now let's work on this left flap a little bit. Trim that up. Trying to see which way would be easiest to cut. For this little thing, I'm gonna use my finger blade. Very nice. Okay. All that out the way. Now let's work on this fold. Try to be as gentle as we can with it. There we go. Look at that. That looks nice, right? The layers there. Okay. Check this. See if we need to put more glue or if that's going to be sufficient. Let's open this up. And this is what we've got so far, guys. I feel like this needs to be creased a little bit more. Okay, looks good. There we go. Now you can leave it like that, or that's where I was thinking there's going to be those seams that you may not like or want. So you may want to just throw a piece of washi tape over it. Let's see. Not necessarily that I'm going to put it down, but let's just check it out and see how it would look. Kind of like it. Let's go ahead and do it. But this is washi tape, so we need to reinforce it. And scissors, trim that off. There we go. So that is what we've got so far, guys. We've got the inside portion started. Okay. We've got the flap, and it is tire covered. Here we've got this flap done. We'll see what we want to add and include to that. I haven't decided yet. We've got this middle flap done that houses 2 good sized pockets, and it's still a little snug, so on the next one we may come back and trim another smidge off of there. We'll see. But sometimes you just got to go in and out of the pocket a little bit just to loosen things up. So we'll see what we're going to do there. Okay, and then that flips out, and then this is going to be the back inside page. Okay. Alrighty, I think that's a good place to stop, and we will start on the right side pieces. And here everything is right here. And we'll start on that portion on the next video, okay? But I think for now, that is coming along very, very nicely. I like it. Look at that, guys. Okay. All right, let's put these pieces back in. I don't want to lose anything. Okay, and that, look at that, not too bad. Let's see, it's only going to end up probably being maybe 3/4 of an inch thick. I love it. All right, guys, I'm going to clip this closed so I don't lose anything. Until the next video, that is it for now. So I hope you guys like it so far. Thank you so much if you followed along with me this long. Thank you so very much. I really appreciate you. It's a fun project. Hope you guys try it. Come along with me. Take care. God bless. I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.